Hey everybody, it's Ron Jackson, and I'm live right now for you on YouTube. This is my Patreon second Saturday that I offer to my patrons, but I have it actually open to the public. And hopefully a couple of patrons will come on. We're going to be talking about jazz improv today. So let me just start playing a song for you right now. I'm going to be using my iReal Pro here. Okay, how's everybody doing? Let me see some of the comments here. Hey, Victor, how are you doing, Victor? Good to see you. So I'm just doing a little live stream right now on Jazz Improv for my patrons, and actually, for the open public right now. I know some people are at home, right? And in my case, I got a lot of cancellations because of COVID, unfortunately. So right now, I'm starting to resume more stuff online again to my fans and friends on YouTube and everywhere else. So hope everybody's doing well. So this is, a workshop for my patrons on Patreon, and I like to talk about different kinds of techniques for jazz improvisation. So one of the things I like to do, one of the approaches I like to use is, the bebop approach to improvisation that I learned a lot from Barry Harris, the jazz pianist in New York that passed away. Actually, he just passed away from COVID. Just recently, he had his wake in December, and it was unfortunate. I think he was 92 or 93. I forget exactly, but he was up there. But he went to an event, and I think took his mask off and caught COVID, and unfortunately passed away. But I used to go to his classes for years and years, and we used to, and I learned a lot about bebop through him, but things I didn't know, things I was doing, but I didn't know I was doing. But he explained everything that he had his own method. So let me say hi to Victor right here. And hi, Vic. And it's good to see you. So I'm sending Victor a message right now. So if you'd like to join my Patreon, please let me know. And that would be really cool. So let's talk about a little bit about Bebop. If you have any questions too, I'm not only taking questions from my patrons, but also from my fans here on YouTube. Anything about the guitar or jazz improvisation. So when I'm playing, I'm doing a million different things right now. Victor's asking, after keyboards, learning guitar made visual music easier. Yeah. So when I'm playing the guitar, and I'm playing jazz improvisation, I'm actually just playing, let's say you're playing a C major scale. So you should basically know that scale. So Victor's asking, does Patreon take 20%? No, they don't take 20%. They take less than that, actually. YouTube takes a lot more money, Victor. That's why a lot of guys from YouTube went to Patreon, just so you know. So hello, jazz friends. Dovla. How you doing, Dovla? So if you have any questions about jazz improv, I'm going over that right now for the workshop today. So what Barry taught was all the bebop scales. So basically, a bebop scale is like taking let's say you take a C major scale. You go up the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 8. Okay, and then the major bebop scale is basically, playing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, back to C, which is 8. And he put a passing tone in between, which is a chromatic note, in between the 6th note. So everybody thinks, that's 6, the 6, the 5 and the 6 right here, 5 and 6, that note, which is what they call a sharp 5 or a flat 6, is actually like a sharp 5 or a flat 6, but it's actually just a passing tone. We consider it a sharp 5 or a flat 6, but it's really just a passing tone in this case, because you don't really stay on the note. If you stayed on the note, it would actually cause a tension. So Barry actually took this, to a whole new level about jazz improvisation. So what happens is when you're playing this scale, okay, the 8-note bebop scale, it actually makes all the beats even when you're playing through a time signature. So let's say you're playing through 4/4, it'll come out like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You end on 1, but if I played a C major scale, which has 7 notes, it wouldn't do that. We go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there's an extra 8th note there that doesn't land on the C. You land on the C at an 8th note earlier. So actually, that that really affects the sound of your jazz improv lines. So the bebop scale was actually invented, bebop was actually invented by Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker and Thelonious Monk and all those guys back then in the 50s, and they started experimenting with passing tones between all the scales. Not only major, I'm just giving you a major because it's the easiest one. There's a bunch of them. Okay, so oh yeah, thank you, Victor. Thanks for sending me a PayPal. I appreciate you. So you can join my Patreon, and if you want to send me anything like a donation like Victor did, you can send me a PayPal right here. I'm showing that right now. If you'd like to donate to me, thank you, Victor. I really appreciate you. So Victor's a great guy. He's one of my big fans, and I want to see him in Ohio, when I'm on tour. So just so you guys know, off the subject about improvisation, I'm going to be on tour, and I'm going to have my new album's coming out that Victor helped support too. I already have copies here. We're going to do a pre-release, pre-sales actually. So get your copy. I'm going to start announcing that next week because it's coming out February 25th. So I'm going to start letting people know so they can pre-order the record along with the vinyl. Okay, so it's really great. So if you have any questions, let me know. And I really appreciate you, Victor, giving me a donation on PayPal. And if you'd like to donate, that would be great, everybody, too. And if you have any questions, please send them to me, okay? And I would like, and I would love to, hear from you. So, so what we're talking about is the bebop scale, okay? Okay, so what Barry Harris did, he just put a passing tone, let's say a C major scale. So you would play C, D, E, F, G, then you put a note between the G and the A. Okay, a passing tone. So when you practice that on the guitar, please practice that all over the fingerboard, okay? All over the fingerboard like this. Every possible fingering. See? You really have to know this all over the fingerboard. It's a really good exercise to get your, really know the bebop scale all the way through. So so this scale really works good on like let's say a 1-6-2-5 progression in C, which is C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7. Also, if you're playing over a C major chord. Now, this is just a scale. You have to make lines up with this bebop scale, okay? So I'm only playing it up and down the scale. Like a lot of guitar players, or a lot of people when they start doing jazz improvisation, they start playing the scale just up and down, and they run the scale up and down. But you have to make melodic lines with this, okay? So what I like to do is, first, one way you can practice this, you can just practice it up the scale like this. I'm doing 3 notes at a time, okay? Or you can do arpeggios, okay? This makes it much more complicated now. So you can go C, E, G, okay? And then when you have that passing tone, you have a diminished chord every time you get to the next triad. So it's like a, okay, then you have, so this is the bebop scale. See that? So what I'm doing is I'm doing a 6 chord, and then diminished, D diminished, then a C6 chord, first inversion, then the F diminished. Okay, and then a C6 chord, okay, second inversion, then a F, then a G sharp diminished, then a C6 chord, third inversion, okay, and then a B diminished, excuse me, back to the 1. So that's actually a really good exercise. Oh yeah, so that's like the way you actually play. You practice that the bebop scale is doing it that way. Okay, up in third, you can do the full chord. So you're going to do all the 6 chords, then diminish. Okay, this is much more complicated. Okay, so that's how you practice the bebop scale in thirds like that, up and down the scale with the passing tone. And then you could do the full 7th chord. It's actually a 6th chord here, and then a diminished 7th. Okay, see it? Now we're in C major. You also do this in C minor, so that makes a melodic minor scale, okay? So if you have any questions, please send them to me. Now, there's a question here. Sweet Lou Olatosin, are you from Nigeria, like Tosin Abasi, one of my favorite guitar players? Let me know, Lou. Yeah, Ron, I got your last CD and some of your arrangements. I'm a singer struggling to learn jazz guitar. You've been very helpful. Lou Olatosin. Thank you, Lou. I really appreciate you. Let me show you your comment to everybody. I'm showing your comment. Thank you, Lou. I appreciate you. Now, let me see. Let me hide that comment. And there's another question, too. When you're doing jazz, improv, someone's asking me a question. Oh, wow. Great. You're Nigerian. Like Tosin Abasi from Animals as Leaders. You're one of my favorite guitar players. I got one of his guitars, the Abasi guitar. So just to let you know, we'll talk about that another time. Now, let me show this question that Victor asked me. When you're doing jazz, improv, which time is most appropriate? Well, in jazz improv, Victor, okay, that was a question right here. What you do usually is, most jazz musicians play in 3/4 or 4/4 or 2/4, etc. Just so you know. But now a lot of guys are doing like odd meters. So some people, like Take 5 was in 5/4. And I think one of those songs by Dave Brubeck was another meter. So we're starting to do 7, 5, 11, 9, all those meters. But most jazz musicians play in 4 or in 3/4 or 4/4, okay? Or 12/8, which is like more of like the R&B sound. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. Or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a lot of numbers to count out, but what's really important? When you're actually playing these different time signatures and timing, you should definitely, what's the word? Count every time, every beat, to be really accurate with your timing. Let me show this comment right now from Lou. Yeah, you're Nigerian. Great. So everybody, this is what I show everybody on my Patreon account, okay? And on my Patreon account, you can learn all about jazz improv. I have, workshops like this, usually in private, just for my patrons. So you can join me on Patreon right there on the site right there. And then, become a patron. It says it right there at the bottom. So if you'd like to join, let me know. If you'd like to donate just for this live stream right now, please do so. So please let me know if you have any questions on jazz improv. So when I'm soloing, I'm using a lot of bebop scales. I was talking to you about that earlier. Now, this is just one approach. Now, there's like, there's a bunch of bebop scales, okay? So let me see if there's any other questions here. And so, there's the major bebop scale and like this. And see, now the next bebop scale that jazz musicians like to use a lot is the minor bebop scale, which is actually like it's actually a C major scale with a flat 3. So that's actually called the C melodic minor. It's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you go back down using those same notes. And my the guitar teacher that taught at Berkeley and wrote a lot of the Berkeley books, called that the real melodic minor, which is the classical, they actually go up, so they go 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Then they descend. On descending, they lower the 7 and the 6. So here's the difference: real melodic minor, classical melodic minor. See that? Jazz melodic minor, or real melodic minor, or classical? Oh, sorry. So in jazz, we keep it all raised. So I teach my students, if they want to play a major bebop scale and make it a minor bebop scale, it's very easy. You just play the C major bebop scale. And to play the melodic minor bebop scale, just lower the 3rd. That's all. Okay? So what you do is you have to practice this all over the neck, because you can't just play just one way. Otherwise, it's no use, because a lot of guitar players, they always learn, especially if you're learning beginning jazz, A lot of guitar players just play one fingering for the whole thing. But you have to practice up and down the neck, all these fingering. The neck should not limit you to how you play your scales. You should really practice your scales in every key and every possible fingering. Oh yeah, let me see. Someone's let me answer some comments. Okay, so Victor says, I've been working with several Swiss brands, and we are playing it with switching the timing around. Heck of a workout. Oh yeah, interesting. That's great, Victor. Yeah, we're working on my timing with the drummer, just so you guys know, who's ever watching right now. This is an open workshop that I usually do for my patrons on Patreon. So if you'd like to join my Patreon, just go right here at the bottom and just join right now at patreon.com/RonJacksonMusic. Okay, and and you get all these lessons written out as well, and you get all kinds of behind-the-scenes video, things I'm doing on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Now, let me say hi. Say Marco from Argentina says hi. Hi, Marco. How are you? Thank you. Great to see you. I'm thank you from all my fans all over the world and in the United States, of course, too. So we're talking about jazz improvisation. So when you're improvising, everybody, it's more than just scales. You have to start learning solos. Okay, learn people's solos, learn tunes, and learn all kinds of stuff. But when you're practicing your scales, especially on the guitar, you have to really practice it all over the neck. So I was talking about the minor and major bebop scales that I learned from Barry Harris. See? See how many ways I play that? I'm only in the key of C, but I try to play that everywhere, like I'm up here. Up here. I hardly play those frets up here, but I should practice these up here more too, Yeah, you should be able to play these scales on one string. Watch it. I should play them slower. This is a really good exercise too to practice this. This really teaches you how to play the scale and really learn the neck. Watch this. All on one string. See how I'm using one finger? You should be able to use any finger. Then here. Watch this. Now, fifth string. Now, sixth string. So this is not easy to do, but it really teaches you how to learn the whole neck and your scales up and down the neck, because you should not be limited to playing in one area. You should be able to play. When I'm playing the guitar, you have to be able to, be able to play up and down the neck without getting lost. So I tend to go like this. If I'm taking a solo, I'll go. So what I do is I do a lot of jumping around, but I usually use pivot notes to go up and down the neck. And I might use an arpeggio to get up to the next section. So I'll go like this. I'm just playing a C melodic minor bebop scale. The whole time, the one scale, I've just been playing up and down the neck on one string. I'm actually practicing in front of you guys doing this. Because I don't really play like that. I don't play my scales up and down the neck when I'm taking a solo. I'm actually playing jazz lines that are based on the scale. So when I'm playing really fast, what I usually do if I want to get up to the higher part of the neck and play something really fast, I'll go like this. So what I'm doing is I'm just really jumping around the neck and just playing up and down the neck. So I'm not getting lost at all. So, but the reason why is because I'm actually, I practice this stuff all the time so I don't get lost around the neck. So that's very important when you're learning how to play jazz. And jazz improv is to go up and down the neck and really learn your scales. And, just you got to practice this stuff for hours and hours and really flesh everything out. So there's some questions here. Let me show this question from, best approach to memorize notes on the fingerboard, please. Oh yeah, so Victor, sorry, not Victor, Lou Olatosin, Nigerian. Hold on. So let me talk to you about that for a second. So when you're learning notes on the guitar neck, you should one of the best ways is to practice this over and over. And look, so if I'm playing, so for example, one good way is to be able to play your scales, like I told you, and actually say and memorize the notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The thing is, you've got to actually learn how to play this all over the neck. That's the thing. A lot of guitar players get limited down here about learning notes on the guitar. Okay. And also, you have to know, the names of the strings and how they relate and what frets all the notes are on. So you should learn all your natural notes on the one string. For example, this is an E string. Okay. So if I'm going up the string, I should know how to play just the regular natural notes, which are C, D, E, F, G, without any accidentals, which are like the sharps or flats. So you should know those notes on the guitar. You should know that the first string is open E, then F is the first fret, G is the third fret, A is the fifth, B is the seventh fret, and then C is the eighth fret, etc. So when I'm playing up this guitar neck, it took me a long time to learn, but I know that if I play an open E and I play the 12th fret, I know that's an E because 12 frets away is another E, okay? And then if I play at one fret, then it's obviously, I know that's an E to F, E to F. So you just know everything doubles at the 12th fret. But just so you know, Lou, that's one of the best approaches. And also you have to do this. You have to practice this all the time. It doesn't happen overnight. Everybody thinks that there's like an easy way. You go to YouTube, listen to me talk, and then what happens is it's not me listening to me talk. You've got to actually put all the hours in. Because when I started learning how to read, it took me, and learning the notes on the guitar neck, it took years. Literally, it took hours and hours of practice. And you know what? It really does take hours and hours of practice. And you really got to focus and just practice this so much that you start learning the notes on the guitar neck. And there's a lot of books on this too. But also, it's good to get a teacher. Like I teach privately, and I make you learn these notes. I have a kid that's learning guitar right now. He knows the notes. He knows the notes right here. He can read very well. The reason why he can read so well because I make him practice all the time, and I make you read the notes. You have to be really patient, and there's no shortcut. Like some people, have real jobs. They're not musicians. You think it was easy to find your job if you're like an engineer? Of course, you have to learn coding, like computer coding, for example. That's to code. You have to learn little, I don't know, numbers and all that stuff. I don't know. I have a student who used to be used to be into coding. So you know what? That took hours and hours to learn, so you have to really practice that stuff. It takes a lot of time. So to learn notes, you got to really practice them and memorize them and practice them all over the neck. And you use different methods for that. That's a great question. So what gauge strings did I use? That's a great question, Vic. Actually, I just did a TikTok about that. So right now, I mean, on my guitar right here, I'm using 14s. Okay, and I'm using these Labella jazz tape strings. Okay, if you look carefully, these are 14 through on this guitar. I'm only using, this is a 7-string set, so I'm using these all the way to 67 on the 6th string. This is a 7-string set right here. So those are kind of strings I'm using. These are Labella jazz tapes. If you look carefully, the first 2 strings are steel strings, and the rest are black nylon taped steel strings. Okay, so the strings have nylon taping on top of them, on top of steel string. So that's really cool. Let me say hi. Someone named Shura said Von Rent. I don't know what that means, but if you can translate, that would be great. Okay. So these are, so everybody, if you're enjoying this, please join my Patreon at that's right up here. Join for you get 6 and 7 string lessons. And Daniel, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate you. Daniel's a great friend of mine. Play Me So West, you are awesome. Okay. So Daniel is a big fan of mine. He just donated $5. Thank you for super chat. And I'll play you like a little West song. Let me see if I can play you something here. Let me see if I can play you this one that I haven't played in a while, Daniel. So that was for Daniel. He wanted a West tune. I forgot what that was called. That was one of his hits. It's just basically an A minor vamp, and really great tune. Yeah, man. Thank you, Lou, sweet Lou. All the way from Nigeria, I think. I don't know where you live, but that's a Nigerian name. So yeah, that was a Wes Montgomery tune. That was a request, but we're talking more about jazz improv. So recently, let me see, Victor had to break out my sax to accompany you. Oh, thank you. Oh, you play sax too? I didn't know. Victor plays everything, man. Let me show that to Victor. Show everybody Victor's Victor's comment here. So thank you everybody for watching. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Daniel gave me another couple bucks. I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. Smoking at the half note. I think it's, oh yeah, bumping on sunset. Yes, that's what it's called. Yes, thank you, Daniel. That's a great song. You know what? I used to play a lot of West stuff. You know what they call me? Les Montgomery. L-E-S-S. Sorry, that's a dumb joke. But thank you, thank you, Daniel, for another donation. You know, I appreciate you. You're a great guy. And so let's talk more about jazz improv, everybody. So, you know, when you're doing jazz improv, there's so many approaches. So I was talking about the bebop approach. When I was playing the Wes Montgomery approach, I was just basically playing like just really diatonic, major, you know, minor scales, mostly Dorian. So the Dorian scale is a minor scale. So it's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. No, sorry, 6, flat 7. Back to 1. It's hard to say this out loud and play. So I use that a lot when I'm improvising on minor. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, Daniel laughed at my Les Montgomery. That's pretty funny, isn't it? Yeah. So when I'm improvising, you know, I'm just basically, you know, when I'm improvising, I'm not just playing scales. I'm playing melodic lines, things I've learned. Okay. And so I'm just like, I'll be like doing. I'll maybe play the, you know, the bluesy kind of scale. Chromatic notes. Sometimes I'll put that fifth in there, like George Benson would do, just to make it more like a, you know, really kind of more modern octave playing. I did double octaves too. So basically, I'm playing an A, and I'm playing an A 2 octaves away. This is an octave, and this is 2 octaves away. You can play them together. So you have to use your fingers for that. It's really hard to play. So Carlos Santana uses a Dorian mode a lot. Oh yeah, Carlos Santana is great. I love Carlos Santana. And that's his thing. He really is. So I'm bending a 14 strings here, guys. Carlos Santana! You know, he does that kind of stuff. So he's really great. I love Carlos Santana. Actually, this drummer I used to work with a lot, Cindy Blackman Santana. I used to play with her a lot in New York. She was doing like Lenny Kravitz's gig. Now she's married to Carlos Santana. Her name is Cindy Blackman Santana. Really great drummer. And I see her once in a while. She just actually, you know, friended me on LinkedIn. But I haven't talked to her in a while. But she's really a great drummer. That's married to Carlos Santana. So let me see. Victor said in the studio, I'm a studio musician and sound tech. Of course, we play a lot of instruments. Oh, I didn't know that, Victor. Sorry about that. I didn't know that. I mean, I do some studio work too, but I mostly just play guitar and stuff like that. But so everybody, you know, so we're talking about jazz improv. And so one of the approaches I started working on was, you know, I do a lot of bebop approaches in bluesy. And now I'm starting to use a lot of the saxophone lines because I started studying with Mike Stern. And you know, I know a little bit about this stuff. So, you know, when you're playing over a chord like a C major 7, you don't have to play like the scale. You could just play parts of the scale like a saxophone would do. So a lot of saxophone players play like this part of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 5, or 1, 2, 4, 5. Or like on the minor, they would do this. You can do it that way, or you can just go. You can go 1 flat, 1 2, flat 3 5, or 1 flat 3 5 4 5. So Mike has me practicing that kind of stuff. Mike Stern, the guitar player. So what happens is, when you're playing these 4-note permutations, you know, John Coltrane used to do these things a lot, and that's one thing I've been working on to make my playing more modern. Like a saxophone player, he plays basically they play this stuff all the time because it's easier to finger. I don't know, it's more innate to the saxophone than guitar, and so there are easier things to do on guitar than what a saxophone would do, and vice versa, you know, or a trumpet player or a piano player. So there's you know easier things to do like the arpeggios or whatever the, you know the instrument has. So I started working on these kind of patterns. So these are, you know, you could do this like on giant steps and all these fancy tunes like that. Yeah. So Victor said the hardest instrument for him is the voice. Yeah, that's what he said right here. The hardest show I was ever on was the voice. Just kidding. So look, so you know when I'm practicing improvisation, there's so many different approaches. So you can use like the John Coltrane approach. Let's say you're playing giant steps. This song. Okay, so when I play that song, I use you know, I used to use a John Coltrane thing. He just does these scales around the just these 4-note voices like this. Like this. They call them I think they call tetrachords. So you know what? When I started talking about Mike Stern, he says that pattern like this. A lot of people play from the root, like John Coltrane did it that way. But there's 24 permutations of this. So that's another approach that I need to practice myself. So you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 5. You can go 1, 3, 2, 5. You can mix them up like that. You can do it that way. See what I'm doing? So that's much harder to play and get used to. So let me see. There's another. Wow, thank you. Oh man, thank you, Daniel. Thank you for another donation, Daniel. I really appreciate you. Wow. Oh, what do you think of Derek Trucks? I love Derek Trucks. Daniel. Doesn't he play? Did he play with the Allman Brothers? I think. I've worked with Otto Burbridge before too. You know, I did a gig with him a long time ago, and he's a really great bass player. So I think that you know, I really like Derek Trucks. He's really a great guitar player, and you know, so anyway, let me keep going. So yeah, thank you, Daniel, again. Yeah, he's a really great guitar player. You know, I'm into all styles of music. So today we're talking mostly about jazz improv. So if you have any questions about that, that would be great. Oh, let me see. Also, my friend Victor says just finishing the filming of The Voice Canada with Laura. Oh, wow. The Voice Canada. I don't even know about that because I'm in America. But, you know, I really appreciate you guys, all your support. Really great. Thank you. So, yeah. So, I mean, one of the approaches is using that 1, 2, 3, 5 pattern. So that's giant steps, basically. But I'm using a lot of, you know, I'm using a lot of different, you know, there's so many different approaches to playing that 1, 2, 3, 5 pattern that I need to practice. And one book, so, you know, we've been talking a lot, but there's some books you should always definitely, you can use books too for this. The best thing to do is learn by ear and really practice this, but there's books you can use. Like Mike told me to get this book called Inside Improvisation Series, The Melodic Structures by Jerry Borgonzi. And it has all this stuff in it. It's a really great book. Another book you can get for really jazz, you know, really advanced jazz improv is The Thesaurus of Scales and Melodic Patterns by Nicholas Slonminsky. Slonminsky is a hard name to say. Okay, and really good stuff also to learn from is like stuff from Pat Martino, his approach to playing improvisation. So I'm going to start, I'm going to do some videos about jazz improv and different ways of improvising, and do some different videos that are not live, because when it's live, it's a lot to think about. I could actually just focus myself and just explain it really in depth, all these different ways to improvise. Let me show this comment from Daniel. So Daniel, I played with Otil Burbage before, and he was great. I didn't know his brother Kofi. What did he play? Tell me. Send me a comment. I have no idea what he played. So, to everybody, does anybody have any more questions about jazz improv? So I was talking a lot about jazz improv today. I'm going to have to get going soon. So, please join my Patreon. It's only $3 a month. You get like some free lessons. You do a workshop like this, but usually this is in private. I'm doing it public today. Maybe I'll play you a song before I leave. And if you have any questions, please send them to me, or if you want to donate, just go to my Zelle at the bottom here, or Venmo, or Cash App. It's Ron Jackson Music, or you can just donate straight here. I appreciate it, like Daniel did. Daniel, I really appreciate all your donations today, and everybody else on PayPal that sent a PayPal or a Cash App or Venmo or anything like that. You guys are really great people. And if there's any questions or anything, let me know and send them to me. And let me see. Daniel said to me, I attempt bebop improvisation, but I end up sounding like a fake jazz. I use a lot of pentatonic scales on top of chromatic. Yeah, Daniel, just so you know, to get really good at jazz improvisation, you need to learn your major scales and your minor scales, all the minor types of scales and the modes. But also, just so you know, it's not only about scales. You have to learn the language. So you have to start learning jazz solos. I used to learn piano solos, saxophone solos, guitar solos. That's how you learn. You learn the language of the improvisation, not only the scales. So, a lot of teachers will make you learn these solos so you can learn the language. I didn't know Kofi was the organ player for Derek Truck's band. Oh, great! I didn't know that. So, if you want to get into improvisation, one of the best ways is to watch my videos, get a teacher like myself, and transcribe. Learn songs, learn the scales, learn the solos. Get a teacher to help you. Because I still study with people. Like I took a lesson with Mike Stern in July, and I haven't had a chance. I've been so busy. My new album's coming out, everybody. So be on the lookout. There's going to be pre-sales, pre-order. You can pre-order the record. So, please look out on my website here look out on YouTube. It's coming out on February 25th. We could pre-order it. I'm going to start trying to get the pre-order set up for next week. So, that would be great. Yeah, Mike Stern. Yeah, he's great. He told me to get this book, Daniel. And I'm still practicing his stuff. And Mike Stern loves my playing, but there's always something I need to learn. I want to make my playing even more modern. So he told me to get this book. He told me to study with somebody else, because Mike Stern still takes lessons himself. Okay, just so you know. So if there's any questions or anything, please send them to me, or join my Patreon, or send me an email at ron@ronjacksonmusic.com. Oh, wow. Victor said he just lacquered up his latest LP of Eric Gale's. Want a copy? Sure. Yes, so everybody, if you want to contact me, I'm going to put my email here, ron@ronjacksonmusic.com. Okay. And that's also my Zelle account, if you'd like to Zelle me something. And if there's any other questions, let me know. So if you want to join my Patreon, it's right here. And you guys can watch this video over and over on YouTube. And if you can send me some comments or just contact me. And I really appreciate you guys watching. And I'm going to get going now. So thank you, my patrons, my fans on YouTube, everybody that watched. We had quite a few people watch today. And we talked about jazz improvisation briefly, and how you go about it. And you could use my approach on any instrument, not only guitar. And if you want to learn more about this, definitely join my Patreon and follow me or take a lesson with me. Everything will be on my right now on my YouTube, and really appreciate you guys. What harmonies? What are the harmonies I can compose a jazz song with a melancholic sound? You can use like a lot of just a quick answer. You can use a lot of minor chords, maybe like these kind of a lot of these open kind of sounding chords. A lot of 9 chords. You know, a lot of open kind of chords, seconds and thirds. So that's a great question. What harmonies? You can use, you know, a lot of minor harmonies. So minor is basically what I'm trying to say. Minor is a sad sound, melancholic sound. Okay, and you can use a lot of like minor 11s, open strings. Open strings like that. There's some different ways to approach that. You know what's really funny? I should do a video about composing. I'm a composer too. So that's a great idea. Thanks for that question, Marco. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna do a video about how you compose, different approaches to composition. And if you want to study with me about composition, everybody, please definitely contact me by email. I'm trying to build up more students now. The pandemic is affecting a lot of work, so I'd like to get more students online. So if you'd like to study with me, please do so. And great. Oh yeah, Victor's gonna see me in Medina, Ohio, everybody. So if you go to my website, you can start finding out about my upcoming tour in the Midwest, and you can pre-order my new album. And if you want to study with me, definitely contact me. Okay. Ron at ronjacksonmusic.com. And if there's any questions or if you want to donate, you can see it right there on the banner. And let's keep in touch, everybody. And great question. I'll do a video about a YouTube video masterclass about composition too. And it's a really good question. And there's different ways of composing. Okay. So everybody have a great day. And I really appreciate you, all my fans here. And have a wonderful evening wherever you're at in the world, from Peru to Nigeria. I think someone was watching. You guys were really great. And definitely join my Patreon. And we'll talk soon. Okay. Let me see. Aren't minors used mainly in the blues? Oh, yeah. That's a great question. Oh, you can use minor in blues, but also minor means sad, Victor. So they sound really great with ballads, just so you know. Let me see. So Victor mentioned about minors. So yeah, minors can sound bluesy, of course, too. Like Thrill Is Gone, that song, just so you know, Thrill Is Gone. It's just like a minor blues, but it's kind of a sad minor blues. Thrill is gone. Thrill is gone. I got the blues. I don't know what you're talking. So yeah, that's a minor sound, like Thrill Is Gone, but it's a sad minor sound too. Yeah, so you can use that like on you can use that in jazz as well, like My Funny Valentine. So you can use that too. Minor is like a sad sound, So if you want a melancholic, sad sound, you can use minor. Great question, Victor, and a great comment. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll keep in touch. And please follow me, share this live stream, share my page everywhere at YouTube, which is at Ron Jackson Music, everywhere, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. You know, I have more fans on TikTok than any place. So please, please follow me and subscribe. And I really appreciate you guys on YouTube and on Patreon. So please, you can watch the playback. I mean, this is already public about jazzy improvisation and any other questions I asked. And we'll talk to you guys very soon. Okay, have a great day. And Ron Jackson, over and out. Okay, follow me at ronjacksonmusic.com, and also definitely pre-order my new album, Standards in My Songs, my second album on 7-string guitar, which I didn't play today, actually. Okay, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.